A lot of my training is in helping dogs that have issues or different problems. These problems can come from a lot of different sources. It can be a dog, the breeding, maybe he's got a ton of drive but not much cooperation, or the opposite, really cooperative but doesn't have much drive. That can be a breeding issue. But then there's also problems that can occur in training. If the training doesn't match up with the temperament of the dog, you can have issues. This video shows a good example. This is a young Llewellyn Setter, about a year and a half old. This is Cazzie. The owner contacted me, was asking questions about drive and cooperation and different things. Typical scenario, he took Cazzie to a trainer and dropped her off, wanted her to get experience on birds and guns and hunting. He got a call back from the trainer about a month in, and the trainer suggested he come and get his dog because they weren't getting anywhere with the training. They had said that Cazzie was afraid of everything. Everything was scary to her, and she didn't have enough prey drive to get into birds or to like birds, and certainly not enough to get into any guns. Um, Said that in a month there was no progress made. So he went and picked her up, and then he called me, and he asked me what I thought about it. He said he wasn't ready to give up, and I told him, bring her on out. We're going to take a look at her. And he was here for 2 days. And that's what this video is. This video chronicles where we started and what we did in 2 days. In my method, as you'll see, there's no e-collars used, there's no repetition, there's no commands, no obedience, basically no pressure applied by the trainer. Basically, there is some pressure, but it's always applied by the prey, as it should be. If you get pushy, you're not going to be rewarded. If you learn to stalk and manage and be careful around birds, you'll get rewarded. So the bird is doing the training. I'm just setting up the scenarios. In this video, what I'll do is I'll stop the video before each section, kind of describe what you're going to see and the process that we go through in order to, number one, build the drive. Once we have the drive, then we can start working on other things, but drive is always first. The only way to build drive is to let the bird do it. Let her bump and chase wild acting birds, and the bird will teach her to be steady, will teach her the new strategy of steadiness in order to get closer to the prey, these kind of things. You'll see we get the drive going first, then we begin to let her chase birds. She gets enough confidence that she begins to chase birds, and it doesn't hurt. Everything is good. Nobody's telling her anything. There's no commands, no pressure at all. Having fun chasing birds. Then we start building associations. We put the gunfire into it while she's chasing, so it's all built in. The gun means something good. Then pretty soon the birds start to teach her to be steady, because if she just chases them, she chases them off. She doesn't get near them. And then we start putting the gun in with me going out front, and she starts building her steadiness from that point. This first clip shows you where we started. I went out in the field and I had some birds out that way, and I had them release her and see what she would do. As she started into the field, I just released a bird. I didn't say anything. Nobody did anything. I simply released a bird to see what she was going to do, to see where we're starting. When that bird flew, she saw it, and she went back to the handler and nuzzled up against them and wanted to be saved, basically.
Go ahead and just unhook her check cord. Let her go when you're ready.
Now here she is after a few birds, just going out in the field. There were birds out there. We just left her alone. She'd find where the birds were and they'd fly and she'd run back to us. And then after a while, she started building some confidence because the birds didn't hurt. Everything was fun. Nobody was near her to give her any kind of pressure. And pretty soon, when birds would flush, she would start to chase. And that was the first step we needed to see in building drive. Okay, in the last clip, you can see we got her liking birds again. She's not afraid of the visual of a bird or the smell of a bird. She's bumping and chasing, having fun again. And now it's time to go a little bit farther forward. Now I'm going to put a check cord on her because I'm going to use that down the road when it comes to her steadiness. I'm going to use a check cord to show her what steadiness is. So I want her to get used to having it, dragging it, not a problem. And this is also where we begin to build the association to the gunfire. I have enough drive built up now. I can put that gun in there and get her to associate that to the bird, and it's a good thing. But I got to have the drive first and be gentle and careful on this that I don't create any problems. I want the gun to mean good things. If you watch her, you'll see that her tail is up, showing that she's happy and confident throughout all of our time with her here as she relearns how to be a gun dog. She's no longer nervous or scared. She's enjoying herself, having a good time, and it's all positive stuff for her. Remember what I was saying, we always have to keep the drive high. We had an opportunity here, Reagan was here with a Cazzie, so we ran her free with a Cazzie to see what she thought of other dogs. I don't know if the other trainer had run her at all with other dogs, but she's going to have to learn about what it's like to work with another dog in the field. And there, you add competition. Now you've bumped the drive up even more. We've got the gun in. I want to make sure that the drive stays nice and high. I don't want her to get any nervousness about guns or anything. So this is just keeping her drive high, showing her different things in the field. Okay, we've got her drive up. The gun has been introduced. She's taking that well. She associates it to good stuff. Now it's time to put the birds to work. We have some nice birds out there that aren't going to take any pressure from a dog. If the dog pressures them, they're going to leave, just like they should, just like a wild bird. There is no whoa, there is no stopping a dog in this. The birds do this work. Birds train the dogs. So now you're going to see, after she's bumped and chased a few, she begins to point and stalk. And that's just changing her strategy. She's not been successful catching those birds by just chasing them, and now she thinks of something else, which all predators do, the new strategy of stalking and pointing to try to be closer to the prey. In these next couple of clips, if you look closely, you can see the quail running around, and that's encouraging her to stalk and point.
At least she found it out here.
Now that she's gone out, she got comfortable with the birds. The gun is okay. She hunts well. She looks for birds. She's built the association of birds and scent, ground scent, all of these things. She's gone out and she taught herself, the birds actually taught her to be steady, to begin to stalk and begin to point, because that way she gets closer to the prey. Now it's time to show her there's a reason for that. And this is where we come in with the gun. I want her to build trust that I can finish up this new strategy she has, because if she'll be steady, let me get there, let me work on this, then I will kill birds for her. I become valuable, I become somebody to her, she builds trust, and she wants me there. In the next clip, you're going to see we begin to put it all together. She goes out hunting, and now I've got the shotgun. And I'm going to go out with her, let her know that I'm part of this deal, and that I can help, because instead of chasing these birds, I can get it for her. I can kill it and get it in her mouth. So I want to build this trust association that we base our method on, going with her. Trust and cooperation. You'll see in the beginning here I've got the gun, and we'll talk in a minute about some of the different new associations, which are verbal. One is when I say, all right, that's a dog that's on point. I want the dogs to flush the birds. Shortly here, we'll have them stop after that flush. They flush it and stop. But that's for the next time I see this dog. Right now, I want her to be steady for me to get there, steady until I say, all right. When I say all right, then and only then she can flush a bird. And the rest of the steadiness will be our next sessions with the dog, where we teach the dog to do the flush on the all right, but then stop on that flush. The other verbal cue you'll see me use is when I use what I call the hunt dead cue. I don't say fetch. Fetch doesn't make sense to a dog. There's too much involved in that. I make it simple. I say hunt dead. Hunt dead means go find this thing, and they'll bring it back. In my method, retrieving is simply a byproduct of steadiness. They all do it. It's very simple. But you'll see in this, when I'm ready for the dog to flush the bird, I'll say, all right, and I'll make a little move. The dog will flush the bird, and then when the bird is up, bang, the gun goes off, and I'll say hunt dead, because I want to associate that word as something I'm going to use when she's finished her steadiness work here. She'll be steady to wing shot kill. She'll be waiting, and I'll say hunt dead, and then she leaves on my cue.
Hunted! All right. Hunted!